Thank you very much. More later. Has the killing of a Muslim shopkeeper in Glasgow exposed hatred and prejudice within the Muslim community in this country? Police have described the murder of Asad Shah last month as religiously prejudiced. Mr. Shah was an Ahmadi Muslim. They're a small sect who many other Muslims think don't belong to Islam because of their different views on the Prophet Muhammad. This programme's been told by one Muslim group that they're increasingly worried that Ahmadis may be attacked by other, more extreme Muslims. BBC Asian Network reporter Attar Ahmed has been to the UK's biggest Ahmadi mosque.
They said, "We will cut you into pieces, we will break your legs, and we will even cut your neck. Then we will become satisfied."
What we're seeing here are targeted views saying Ahmadiyas are less than animals. Ahmadiyas should have no human right. This is unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable.
Every sect believes that they're the right sect, and what the other sect is practicing is incorrect.
They don't like us because of what we believe. They say I'm not a Muslim.
Friday prayers at the Baitul Qudus Mosque in South London. It's the largest in the UK, and thousands of worshippers have come together to hear the weekly sermon. But they'll have to be patient. It could be a while before they're able to get into the mosque. It's not usual to see such a high amount of security like this at mosques here in the UK, but the worshippers seem to appreciate it, and that's because there's a real feeling there may be a risk from some militant Muslims.
Well, it's airport-style security, and we need to be vigilant and look after those who are coming here. And we're not a professional outfit like the police, but we do the best that we can.
Do you think the level of security you've got here it's excessive?
It's proportionate in accordance with the risk, so we need to take a lot of precautions, and we don't think it's excessive. Once people understand the reasons, it's a lot easier, and they know there's a genuine threat.
37-year-old Farouk is an Ahmadi Muslim. There are about 30,000 others like him in the UK, but some Muslims don't recognise Ahmadis as being part of their religion. It's down to Ahmadis believing in a follower prophet after Muhammad, who came to revive his teachings. It's a contentious issue among some Muslims, who believe Muhammad was the last prophet. It's this belief that gets Ahmadis labelled as apostates, disbelievers, and in extreme cases, worthy of being killed.
Well, the threats we've seen in Pakistan in 2010, you had the two Lahore attacks where our mosque, the suicide bombers there, 86 people were killed. And we don't want to see that here.
Do you think there's a chance that can happen?
No, we've seen recently that there's an increase in sectarian violence, progression of ideology and hate, and we've seen what's going on in other parts of the world.
In Pakistan, Ahmadis aren't allowed to hold Friday prayers, openly preach, or even call themselves Muslims. If they do, they could face up to 3 years in prison under the country's infamous blasphemy laws. Why do you think there are some groups out there who don't consider you to be Muslim?
You need to ask them that. That's for them to answer. I mean, as far as we're concerned, we're Muslims. We follow Islam, nothing else.
Anisa came to the UK in 2012 with her 15-year-old son, Bilal. She'd been receiving death threats from her neighbours in Pakistan because of her beliefs as an Ahmadi. Anisa doesn't want us to show her face, or Bilal's, because she's worried about being targeted. So when you receive these threats from extremist Muslims, what do they say to you?
Once I was outside, they said, "We will cut you into pieces, we will break your legs, and we will even cut your neck. Then we will become satisfied." They do not consider us Muslim, but we are Muslim, God knows better.
Anisa hired a solicitor to take on her asylum case when she got to the UK. He happened to be Muslim, and she began to face problems.
When I hired solicitor. He, rather than solicitor, he was a good preacher. He preached me, he emailed me, while you are living in fool's paradise, come, leave this religion and come to the actual faith of Islam.
His version of Islam.
Yeah. It was not his duty to preach me at that moment because he was my representative. Its duty was only to represent me, nothing else.
How did that make you feel? You paid a solicitor to represent you, and instead he's preaching to you, telling you that you're not a Muslim.
At that time I felt I am not in UK, I am living in Pakistan. The same condition, the same things.
Anisa and Bilal's asylum cases are still ongoing. Bilal's adapted well to his new life in the UK, though he can't fully shake off what he's left behind. I mean, what impact do you think it's had on you growing up as an Afghani Muslim in Pakistan?
I mean, it's taken away my childhood from me. I mean, childhood's supposed to be fun, something, you know, you fit in with the society, make new friends. I mean, I couldn't do that. Like, I always had to stay at home just because, you know, because I'm the Muslim. My mum was scared to let me go out, and I was even feeling scared in my own home because I knew that someone can just come and kidnap me.
I mean, what's life in the UK like for you now?
Much better, you know, like I said, a lot more freedom. You know, you can fit in with the society no matter what race you are, what skin color do you have, and you know what religion you have. It doesn't really matter here.
And I mean, what if your case is rejected and you do have to go back to Pakistan? What's going to happen then?
I would lose myself, you know, I wouldn't even know who am I, because if I go back to Pakistan, I don't know what they're going to do to me. I'll just lose myself, I think.
That'd be great, thanks. Ahmadi shopkeeper Asad Shah at the counter of his store in Glasgow. The 40-year-old was killed in March, a killing that police say they believe was religiously prejudiced. Some fear the religious intolerance towards Ahmadis seen in countries like Pakistan is now beginning to take root here. From the beginning of April, police forces in England and Wales have been required to record anti-Muslim hate crimes as a separate category to try and get a better idea of the scale of the problem. Fiyaz Mughal is from Tell Mama, a group which monitors Islamophobic abuse in the UK. The group claim they're seeing more sectarian incidents being reported to them, both on and offline, with a particular increase in anti-Ahmadi abuse over the last 12 months.
We've had material where they are regarded as individuals who should be exterminated, calling Ahmadi as cockroaches, calling Ahmadi as monkeys, calling Ahmadi as individuals who should not have any right to life.
Do you think things will get better, or do you expect the number of incidents which come your way to stay the same?
We will sadly continue to see a rise. The issue of Ahmadiyas being non-Muslims is quite significant in Muslim communities, in mainstream thought. Now, we don't have a problem with theological difference and debate. People can disagree who is a Christian or Muslim or Jew. What that leads to, some of these disagreements, is targeted hate and vilification of the Ahmadiyya community, and that is just unacceptable.
Despite what groups like Tell Mama claim are increasing levels of anti-Ahmadi abuse, some are trying to help bring about positive change. 26-year-old Abdul Qudus is a young British Ahmadi Imam. He makes a point to actively engage with people from other religions, those of no faith, and Muslims from different sects.
Now we find that in the UK, there's more voiced opinion about different sects. People are openly declaring other sects to be non-Muslims, disbelievers. Rather than looking at the commonalities between each individual, each community, they want to see the differences, and then they hold those differences against each group.
Do you think there needs to be more dialogue between different sects and groups within Islam in the UK?
Definitely. I mean, just by making more practical steps, dialogue, inviting each other to mosques, community places, and sharing a meal together maybe once in a while as well. These things will, of course, break the tension and cause a reason for people to unite. And I think at this very moment, Islam as a whole is being attacked and defamed. So it's even more vital for the Muslim Ummah to come together and unite.
You're a qualified Imam, you've studied the subject for 7 years.
Yeah.
How does it feel when someone says to you, you're not Muslim, you don't know anything about Islam?
it's annoying, to say the least. But I always come from that angle that they just don't know, they're ignorant. The thing is that they've been taught this from day one, and you can't blame someone who's actually had that indoctrinated in them. Hopefully, the one thing that I always say, that if you get to know me, then you realise if I'm a Muslim or not, by my practices, by my actions.
Some groups are openly against Ahmadi Muslims because of their beliefs, but say it's not about promoting violence, spreading hate, or doing anything illegal. The Khatam an-Nubuwwat Academy, or Finality of the Prophets, is one of them. The group share a name with an organisation linked to a mosque in Stockwell, where leaflets calling for Ahmadis to be killed were found, but the Academy claim it has nothing to do with them.
Anyone who says that should be punished according to the law. Catch them, prosecute them, and put them in jail. I don't want to be associated with anybody who advocates any kind of physical harm against any person in any jurisdiction of the world that is against the law of the land.
But you don't think Ahmadis are Muslim, do you?
According to us, according to the Muslims of the world, the consensus says that they are not Muslims.
Some Ahmadis are worried problems in Pakistan are now making the way over to the UK.
So again, this is blowing it out of proportion, out of context, and taking the problems of one country and making them into the problems of another country.
The government plans to try and tackle sectarian hatred under its counter-extremism strategy, published late last year. In a statement, the Home Office told us, "It's unacceptable for any organisation or individual in this country to promote hatred and condone violence. Britain is built on values like democracy, respect and tolerance. These values unite us and help our society to thrive." Heavy security will continue to be a feature of some Ahmadi mosques for the near future, though many are praying a time will come when it's no longer needed.
It's not fair for us. It's totally unfair. We are human beings. Let us live like a human. It's too much for us, and we feel ourselves helpless.
And we'll talk more about the issue after 10 o'clock this morning with people who are monitoring the rise, particularly in tension and in terms of prejudice as well, monitoring those incidents. Still to come, do you have confidence in the Culture Secretary to do his job properly after he confirmed he had a relationship with a sex worker? A story which